Hey, welcome back to another video here at Consulting Success. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. I got a question recently from somebody asking me why I never went and worked at a traditional consulting firm. And I thought I'll share that experience and that decision with you because it might impact and help you to gain a different perspective that leads to a decision that could be more rewarding or fruitful for you too. So the main thing in my experience and the main reason that I didn't go down that path is because I started my first kind of formal business with my cousin, Sam, who's still my cousin and still co-founder at Consulting Success. Today, we've built and sold multiple businesses over the years together, but I started that first business with Sam when I was 17. So I was in high school, we started a web design and development company, and Sam was doing more of the design, the development, I was doing more of the marketing, the communications, the client kind of interactions, although, we both did a lot of stuff together. But that was the first taste of giving advice and providing recommendations and proposals and fees and how you get clients. And when I got a taste of that, it very clearly told me that this is something that I want to do more of. And when I look back, I'm sure at that time I didn't feel this specific way, but I certainly do today, and I can see that was likely what was going on. It's that I enjoyed and still do enjoy challenges. I grew up playing sports, whether it was martial arts or doing soccer or baseball or rugby or track and field very competitively. I kind of had my fingers in a lot of different things. I thrived on playing sports. And probably if you've done any sports in your life at any kind of competitive level, you've probably also experienced that you thrive, right? You get energy from the challenge because every game, every interaction, every session, right, provides a challenge that you need to overcome. You make mistakes, even training for getting to the level that you want to be, right, has a challenge inside of it. And I think that's something that I really enjoy. And I actually believe at a deeper level that if you enjoy challenges and overcoming challenges, you have a higher likelihood of becoming a successful entrepreneur. Because entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, right? For some people, they like the stability. They know that they feel much more comfortable getting a stable paycheck. They don't want to necessarily take work home with them and always be worried about, do I need to provide for the team? Will I be able to make payroll? How will I, grow the business? These are things that entrepreneurs, right, are always thinking about. I was thinking about those things when we were working to reach our first 6 figures. I was still thinking about those kinds of things when we made our first million. And now as a company that's generating multi-millions per year, I still think about those things, right? We're of course very fiscally responsible, so there's never a concern of can we make payroll? We haven't had that, fortunately, and we continue to be very focused on profitability and making investments in a smart way. But I spend a lot of my time thinking about the business, and I do feel a responsibility to ensure that I provide and do things that will benefit not only the business, but of course the team and everybody inside of the business and all of our clients. So I just want to kind of put that out there because some people, on social media kind of talk about entrepreneurship as it's this thing that every single person should do and should aspire to. And I actually don't believe that's the case. I think that for some people, entrepreneurship is not the right thing. But once you get a taste of entrepreneurship, and if you enjoy kind of, overcoming challenges and being able to grow and to be in control, then it's very hard to kind of go back or, and to work for somebody else when you've really tasted that. It's not for everybody. Once you taste it, and if you enjoy it and you kind of thrive and get energy from it, right, it's a pretty powerful thing. So in my case, going back to that first business, right, I started to see, and then even with subsequent businesses, as we got more experience and became, a bit more successful and so forth, that the running a business provided a lot more freedom. It provided more flexibility. I was able to see and to feel the impact of what we were doing directly, or I'd say more directly than if I was part of a larger organization. The other thing is, it became very clear to me that I was in control of how much money I could make. And that was important to me, right? Not that I'm a materialistic person, but the idea of being able to grow my wealth, to build wealth, and to be in control of that was something that right away connected with me, right? Kind of in a deeper level. It felt right. But of all those things, I think what really I appreciated the most and desired the most was freedom. To be able to call my own shots, to make my own rules, to be able, for example, to take my wife, or at that time, my girlfriend, or even today my kids, to an appointment without having to think about it it, right? I'm in charge of my schedule. I don't need to ask permission to do something. That level of freedom, that level of flexibility has always been something that I cherish and that I truly value. I remember, many years ago, I was driving to the airport to go and pick up my wife's family who was coming in. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I didn't have to ask anyone to do this. I could just do it. I didn't have to kind of plan things out. That to me is invaluable. That the ability to take the actions that you want, to do what you want is something that, again, you don't have that when you work inside of a traditional consulting firm, which makes sense because you're not the boss, right? You're getting benefits by being an employee, and there's certain things that provide a really good upside for you, but there's also certain things that, again, it's not your show. You don't make the rules, right? There's certain rules that you need to follow. Now, I don't want this to come across that I believe that working inside of a traditional consulting firm is not a good idea. I think for many people it's a great idea. It can actually be a really great way to build up your skills and your experience and your expertise. But ultimately, and we have many clients who have worked in some of the largest consulting firms in the world, in other mid-sized and boutique firms, and inevitably at some point they recognize that they want to do their own thing. They want more freedom, they want more flexibility, and then they reach out to us at Consulting Success to get help on how to accelerate that path and how to kind of follow a proven path of actually building a consulting business. Because you can have experience doing the consulting work, but building a consulting business, getting your own clients, dealing with proposals and fees and all those other pieces, growing your authority, that's very different. And many people, I'd say most people inside of consulting firms don't actually have that because somebody else in the firm is doing that work for them. So coming back to the whole idea of, which is the right path for you. I think the most important consideration or the biggest drawback, the biggest kind of danger or maybe reason not to be involved in a traditional consulting firm, and at least for me, this was the one that I wanted to stay away from, but I see this a lot with clients that we work with, and why people end up leaving traditional consulting firms. First and foremost, it's because of burnout. You are oftentimes a road warrior, right? You're driving or on planes and traveling. You don't have control of your schedule. In many cases, it can be, especially early on, it can be very demanding from a time perspective. You have to work in many cases with clients and projects that maybe you don't enjoy. Maybe you don't like the values or the culture of the client or the company that you're working with. Maybe you just don't get energy and excitement and doing that specific kind of work or working that specific kind of company doesn't light you up, right? Where on the flip side, when you're a consultant, right, you're running your own business, you get to pick and choose which clients you want to work with. You can say no to those that really don't fit the same, kind of have the same values and culture fit, or just you're not interested, and you can say, so no to those and then yes to the ones that do have it. You can't do that inside of a traditional consulting firm because, again, you don't make those decisions. The other reason I see many people, and I know for myself as well, looking at the more traditional consulting path is that your own growth, your own development in some ways can be faster, but also can be slower, right? So you can get a lot of great resources for development, professional development inside of an organization, right? As I mentioned, you can learn a lot, but if you want to grow inside that organization, maybe you want to have more autonomy, you want to have more freedom, more flexibility, you want to be able to earn more. In many organizations, that's going to take a lot of time, and not everybody is willing to kind of deal with or sacrifice for many years to get to the level where you can start to really earn more significant amounts of money, and also where you start to feel like you really have more control over your schedule, more freedom, more flexibility, the ability to pick and choose who to work with, the ability to say no to certain things and yes to only the right things. Those are things that inside of a traditional consulting firm you often aren't able to do for many, many years. And so this is why, for me, from early on, again, I'm going back now 20 plus years or so when I started my first consulting business, and well, I guess even more than that right now. But we've been building a consulting business for well over 20 years now, and so that was what went into my decision at that time, and I still see that with many other consultants that we speak to. So ultimately, which is the right path? Well, I can't tell you. You might find other people online who will say, definitely do this or definitely do that, or this is the best. I'm not a believer in that. I think everyone needs to make their own decision. There's certainly benefits of being part of a traditional consulting firm. As I mentioned, you can get some really good guidance and experience. You develop your expertise. You learn a lot, but there's also a lot of negatives that you're not in control of your schedule. It's hard. You don't have unlimited kind of income earning potential. You might spend a lot of time doing work that you don't enjoy and not feeling like you're really having an impact. And so that's why, for many people, as long as you enjoy overcoming challenges and you know that essentially you expect that there will be challenges, because running your own business, right, being an entrepreneurial consultant, there will be challenges without a doubt. You will have worry, you will have fear, you will have anxiety at times, you might feel lonely at times, right? That's why we have so many people coming to Consulting Success to become part of the community, so they're not alone anymore, right? They get to tap in, to ask questions and to get feedback and having guidance and coaching to overcome and essentially to accelerate their growth. But those are all things that you need to be prepared for, or at least to consider. And so if you want to have unlimited income earning potential, if you want to be able to work with clients that you have shared values, to say no to the wrong ones, say yes to the right ones, if you want to be able to have ultimate control over your freedom, your flexibility, how you spend your time, whether you work full-time, 5, 6, 7 days a week. If you want to do that, you can. We've had clients who have left working inside of larger organizations because they felt burnt out, because they want to spend more time with maybe their young kids or elderly parents or whatever the situation may be. And they start off working just 3 days a week. And in some cases, they end up making the same amount they were making before, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars working 3 days a week compared to working, the equivalent of 6 days a week. So that doesn't happen for everybody, but just to illustrate that those are the kinds of things that can happen, right? When you are in control, when you are the one running, guiding, stewarding, the business, when you are the master, when you are crafting what you ultimately desire, you get to create, right? You get to go as big as you want or as small as you want. You get to work with who you want to make the impact that you want. And to me, that is so valuable. So I hope that gives you a few thoughts. As always, comment in the video here just below, because I'd love to hear, what do you think? Which path maybe have you taken? What other considerations did I maybe not mention that come to mind for you? Let me know. I read every comment and all the feedback, and I always appreciate that. And again, if you want to learn more and get access to additional resources to grow your consulting business, just click on the link below here. You'll find out by clicking on that. Go to consultingsuccess.com and see all the different resources that are available to you to help you to strategically grow your consulting business in a more consistent and sustainable way.